A cowboy bought an old farm, but when he arrived, a giant girl was waiting for him. Cole McRae wiped the sweat from his brow as he guided his hover horse along the dusty trail. The suns of Corrida Prime were harsh, beating down on the dry land that stretched for miles. Cole had ridden through countless planets before, but something about this one felt different. There was a quiet stillness here, as if the land itself was waiting for him. He adjusted the strap of his pack and squinted toward the horizon. The farm he had bought was supposed to be abandoned, a forgotten plot of land that no one wanted. He thought he would find broken fences, overgrown fields, and the usual signs of neglect. But what he saw made him pause. The fields weren't just overgrown. They shimmered faintly under the suns, the crops bending in perfect rows as though someone, or something, had cared for them. It was unnatural but beautiful. A soft green glow hovered just above the soil, highlighting the way the plants swayed in the warm wind. Cole slowed his hover horse, stepping carefully over the uneven terrain. "This is different," he muttered, scanning the land. His hand hovered near the handle of his old plasma revolver just in case. Something told him he wasn't alone. Then he saw her. She was enormous. Cole had seen giant creatures on frontier planets before, but nothing like this. Standing in the middle of the field was a girl, easily 30 feet tall, her hair flowing like rivers of gold down her back. Her eyes were wide, curious, and intelligent, and she didn't move to attack him. She just waited. Cole froze. The wind seemed to still itself around her, and for a moment he forgot how to breathe. Hello," he called out, his voice small against the enormity of the landscape. The girl tilted her head, observing him. Then, without moving her lips, he heard a voice, not in his ears but in his mind. "You are expected." Cole stumbled back, nearly falling off his hover horse. His eyes widened. Telepathy, on a farm, this was not what he had signed up for. Expected. "By who?" he asked aloud, unsure if he even wanted the answer. "By the land, by me. You have been chosen to care for this place." Cole swallowed hard. He had bought a farm to escape the chaos of the stars, not to be part of some alien prophecy. Chosen, huh? "I just wanted some peace and quiet," he muttered. The giant girl didn't reply verbally, but he felt her presence like a gentle wave against his thoughts. It wasn't threatening, more like curiosity. She shifted slightly, and the earth trembled beneath her feet, making the crops sway in an almost musical rhythm. Cole's instincts screamed at him to run, but his cowboy curiosity held him in place. He had spent his life exploring dangerous places, chasing herds across worlds, facing predators far bigger than this. Still, nothing in his life had prepared him for this. He dismounted his hover horse carefully, keeping his hands visible. "Okay, let's try this slow," he said. "I'm Cole McRae. I bought this farm. Name's not important, I guess. What's yours?" "I am Leora, guardian of the land." Cole's jaw dropped. "Guardian like superhero style?" he asked, trying to make a joke to ease his nerves. He didn't laugh, though. He didn't feel like laughing. "I protect, I watch, I guide those who come." Cole nodded slowly, taking a step closer. "Well, I guess I'm here then. I mean, I paid for this farm. So, hello, Leora." The giant girl's eyes softened, and Cole felt a strange sense of calm wash over him. She knelt slightly, lowering her enormous face closer to the ground so her eyes were at his level. "You are strong," she said mentally, almost like a compliment. Cole chuckled nervously. "Strong? I've survived the frontier, survived pirates and a few angry alien beasts. Does that count?" "Yes, it is why you are here. The land chose someone like you." Cole shook his head, trying to wrap his mind around it. He had dreamed of farming on Corrida Prime for months, imagining the quiet, the simple life, but never giants, never glowing crops, never telepathic conversations, and certainly never anything like this. The giant girl rose to her full height again, letting out a gentle sigh that seemed to ripple through the air. Then she moved, carefully but with deliberate grace, toward the farmhouse in the distance. It was old, made of weathered metal and stone, but it had character. Cole had seen pictures of it before buying the land online, but seeing it in person with the twin suns casting long shadows across the fields, it felt alive. Cole followed, keeping his hoverhorse close. Every step the giant girl took caused the ground to tremble lightly, yet nothing broke and nothing fell. It was as if the land itself welcomed her presence. "You've been taking care of this place?" Cole asked, unable to hide his amazement. "Not I alone. The land is alive. It sustains itself, but it awaited you," Cole frowned. "Awaited me? I'm just a cowboy, Leora. I'm not special." "Special is not always what one believes. You are human, yes, but your mind, your hands, your choices make you capable." Cole scratched his stubbled chin, unsure what to say. Humans were adaptable, resourceful, and clever, but standing next to this giant girl, he felt small in ways he hadn't expected. And yet, there was something inspiring in the way she moved, in the way she seemed to see the land as more than dirt and crops. The farmhouse door creaked as they approached, and Cole noticed the plants along the pathway. They leaned slightly toward Leora as she walked past, as if acknowledging her presence. The glow around the crops intensified near her, bathing the farm in a soft, golden light. Cole stepped onto the porch, peering inside. The place was in surprisingly good shape. Dust covered the surfaces and a few panels needed repair, but structurally it was solid. "Well, I guess this is home now," he said quietly. "It will be," Leora replied, her voice gentle in his mind, "if you are willing to care for it and to protect it." Cole sighed, running a hand through his messy hair. "Protect it from what? The outsiders, those who would take without giving, they are coming." Cole felt a chill despite the heat of the suns. "Outsiders like raiders, pirates." "Yes, soon, but not today. Today we prepare." "Learn, become ready." Cole nodded, understanding at last. He hadn't just bought a farm, he had bought responsibility. And this planet, this land, it had chosen him for a reason. He turned to Leora. "Well, I guess we've got work to do then." The giant girl's eyes twinkled with what he could only interpret as amusement. "Yes, and it begins now." Cole spent the rest of the day exploring the farm, guided by Leora. She showed him where the soil was richest, where the water flowed beneath the surface, and even how the land seemed to shift subtly to encourage growth. The experience was mesmerizing, and Cole felt a thrill he hadn't felt in years. This was more than farming. It was a partnership with the planet itself. By the time the twin suns dipped toward the horizon, Cole stood on a small hill overlooking the farm. The crops glowed faintly, the farmhouse looked welcoming, and Leora's enormous figure rested among the fields, her gaze watchful and serene. Cole smiled, feeling a sense of purpose he hadn't known he was missing. He had come seeking solitude, but he had found something greater. A living world, a guardian unlike anything he had ever imagined, and a challenge that called to the very core of who he was. As night fell, the stars of Corrida Prime shimmered above, and Cole realized he wasn't just on a new planet. He was on the threshold of a new life. And tomorrow, the real adventure would begin. The morning suns rose over Corrida Prime, casting long golden beams across the farm. Cole McRae woke before dawn, his body sore from riding and exploring the previous day. He stretched on the wooden porch, squinting at the fields. The glow from the crops seemed brighter than yesterday, almost like the land itself was greeting him. He heard a soft thud behind him and turned to see Leora, the giant girl, standing near the edge of the field. She moved with careful grace, her enormous feet pressing into the soil without causing damage. Her golden hair shimmered in the light, and her eyes, wide and intelligent, seemed to watch him like a careful observer. "Good morning, Cole," she said, not aloud but directly into his mind. Cole shook his head. "Morning, Leora." I still get used to hearing your voice like that. In my head, I mean. It is how I communicate. It is easier this way. No need for small words when thoughts are clear." Cole rubbed his jaw. "Right, clear thoughts." "Got it." He walked toward her slowly, careful not to step too close. Even though she had been gentle yesterday, he still felt tiny in her presence. Do not be afraid. You are safe here. The land itself protects those who care for it. Cole nodded, trying to calm the uneasy feeling in his chest. Okay, Leora, but I need to understand more. You, the land, glowing crops, what is all this? Some kind of alien technology? Leora's eyes softened. Technology is a part of it, yes, but more than that, it is alive. The soil, the plants, the water, all of it senses and responds. It has waited for you and it will grow stronger with your help. Cole frowned. Waited for me? That sounds strange. I'm just a human. I know how to ride, fence, and plant crops. I'm no hero or guardian. Strength is not only in size or power. It is in courage, in choices, in persistence. You have all these. That is why you were chosen. Cole ran a hand through his messy hair. Well, I guess I can start small, help the crops, repair the farmhouse. Learn about this, whatever it is, but first, coffee. He smiled faintly at his own attempt at humor. Coffee is known, it will give you energy. Leora's voice held a hint of amusement. Cole laughed, and for the first time he felt a strange bond forming. She wasn't just a giant girl. She was intelligent, curious, and even a little playful in her way. It was a comforting thought. After breakfast, Cole walked through the fields studying the glowing plants. He noticed patterns in the crops, rows that bent slightly toward certain directions, almost as if guiding him. Leora followed, kneeling carefully so she could observe without crushing the plants. They respond to care and attention, she explained. The more you interact, the more they thrive. Cole bent down, touching the soil. It was soft and warm, almost like it had a heartbeat. I've farmed before, he said quietly, but I've never felt it like this, alive. It is alive, Leora replied simply, and it will teach you. Cole smiled, feeling a sense of wonder he hadn't felt since he was a child exploring the frontier. Teach me, huh? All right, I'm ready. Leora pointed, or rather extended her massive hand toward a section of the field. Here, start here. Learn the rhythm of the land. Feel how it responds. Cole knelt carefully, planting seeds as she guided him telepathically. To his surprise, the soil responded almost immediately. Tiny sprouts pushed through the ground in perfect symmetry, glowing faintly as they grew. Cole's jaw dropped. Well, I'll be. That's incredible. It is the bond between human and land. Together you create life. Cole's mind raced. He had always believed humans were clever and adaptable. But standing here, seeing the crops grow under his hands and Leora's guidance, he realized humans could do extraordinary things, even on a planet light years from Earth. They worked together through the morning, planting, watering, and tending to the fields. Cole noticed something else. Small creatures about the size of a dog scuttled around the crops. They were harmless, curious, and seemed to respond to Leora's presence. She smiled through thought, of course, as the creatures sniffed at Cole and then returned to their work. They help, Leora explained. All life here has a role. Even the smallest creature contributes. Cole nodded, amazed. He had always respected nature, but this was on a completely different level. He felt small, yes, but not powerless. He could make a difference, and with Leora, maybe more than he ever imagined. The calm of the morning was broken by a distant roar. Cole looked up, frowning. What's that? Not all visitors come with peace, Leora replied, her eyes narrowing. Some come to take, to destroy. They are far, but they will come. Cole's heart pounded. Raiders, space pirates. Yes, but not today. Today you learn. Tomorrow you may need to protect. Cole swallowed hard. Protect against them. Leora, they're gonna be huge, and I'm just me, and you're well huge. Size is not all. You have skill, courage, and ingenuity. You will be ready. Cole nodded slowly, trying to convince himself. All right, then we prepare. The rest of the day was spent repairing the farmhouse. Cole had expected a simple cleanup, but the land seemed to guide him again. Tools appeared at the right time, boards aligned themselves for repair, and even the roof seemed to cooperate as he worked. Leora occasionally reached down to assist, lifting massive beams effortlessly while guiding Cole with instructions. By midday, the farmhouse was sturdier than he had imagined possible. Cole stood back, wiping sweat from his brow. Well, that's something. Feels like home already. It is home, but it is also more. You must be ready for what comes. Cole frowned. Yeah, I get that, but you'll be here too, right? Yes, I will stay. I am here as long as you are needed. Cole smiled faintly. There was something comforting about her presence. She wasn't just a protector, she was a companion, a teacher, and somehow, a part of the land itself. As the suns began to set, painting the sky in shades of pink and orange, Cole sat on the porch with a cup of steaming coffee. Leora settled in the field, sitting cross-legged in a way that somehow made her smaller yet still immense. "Do you see the horizon?" she asked. Cole nodded. "Yeah, beautiful. Makes the hard work worth it. That horizon is also where challenges will come. You must watch, learn, and be ready." Cole stared at the horizon, feeling the weight of her words. "I will, I promise, but for now let's enjoy this moment." "Yes, for now." The night on Corrida Prime was quiet but alive. The glowing crops seemed to pulse gently in the darkness, tiny creatures moved under the moonlight, and Leora's presence was like a warm shield over the farm. Cole lay back on the porch, staring at the stars, realizing that life on this planet was more than he had ever imagined. Humans were adaptable, clever, and persistent. He had survived frontier worlds, outsmarted raiders, and faced dangerous beasts. But here, he felt that human ingenuity had never been more important. He could care for this land, he could protect it, and with Leora he could thrive. He closed his eyes, letting the sounds of the land fill him. Tomorrow would bring challenges, and soon the threats Leora had warned about would arrive. But tonight there was peace. And for Cole McRae, a cowboy far from Earth, that peace was worth more than anything else in the universe. The next morning, the suns of Corrida Prime rose slowly over the glowing fields. Cole McRae was already awake, sitting on the porch with his cup of coffee. He could feel the life in the land, faintly pulsing beneath his boots, like a heartbeat he could sense but not see. Leora moved in the field, her golden hair catching the light as she observed the crops. "They thrive under your care," she said mentally. "You are learning faster than expected." Cole smiled, setting down his coffee. "Thanks, Leora, I think, but you said yesterday there's danger coming. Do you think it's today?" Leora's eyes narrowed slightly. "Not today, but soon. You must be ready. We will practice." Cole frowned. "Practice? How do you practice for something like this?" "You will learn," she replied calmly. "Skill and knowledge are more important than strength alone. Humans are clever, you must use your cleverness." Cole sighed. He had always relied on his instincts, his hands, and his mind. But the thought of facing raiders, whatever they were, made his stomach tighten. Still, he had survived worse. He could survive this. By mid-morning, Cole was following Leora into the fields, helping her inspect the crops and the land. She showed him how the soil reacted to their presence, how the glowing plants shifted toward his hands, and how the tiny creatures of the farm seemed to respond to his movements. Cole marveled at the way the land worked with them, not against them. "You are learning," Leora said. "Soon you will need to use what you know to protect. The land can help, but you must guide it." Cole nodded slowly. "Guide the land, got it. I'll do my best." "Your best will be enough," she replied. Late in the afternoon, the warning signs appeared. At first they were subtle, a low rumble beneath the soil, a faint shadow in the sky, and the smell of burning metal on the wind. Cole's eyes widened. "Leora, that doesn't smell good." "No," she replied. "They are here, outsiders, raiders, but we are ready." Cole's hand went to his plasma revolver. "Ready? Huh, I don't feel ready. Those things out there, they're dangerous." "Danger is always present. You will survive if you think, plan, and act." Cole swallowed hard. He had faced predators larger than him, bandits armed with weapons he had never seen, and storms that could crush buildings. But this felt different. The horizon was filled with massive ships descending, sleek but threatening, glinting in the sun's light. Dust swirled in the distance as hundreds of raider drones landed on the far edge of his land. Cole's heart raced. "Leora, they're coming. What now?" "We protect," she said simply. Cole ran through possibilities. Guns alone wouldn't stop them. He needed strategy. He remembered his old frontier tactics, ambushes, traps, quick thinking. He looked at the glowing crops and the fertile soil, and an idea began to form. "Leora," he said, his voice steadying, "we can use the land, the crops, maybe even the soil itself. Can you help me shape it?" "Yes, but you must guide it. Your mind directs, I provide strength." Cole smiled faintly. "Then let's do it." He ran to the edges of the fields, shouting instructions as Leora followed. Using her enormous hands, she lifted sections of the glowing crops and reshaped the terrain. Cole worked beside her, rigging simple mechanical traps he had carried in his pack, spike panels, small explosives, and nets, modified with alien soil that Leora had slightly energized. The field became a defensive labyrinth, confusing yet beautiful, glowing faintly under the sun's light. When the raiders advanced, they found themselves slowed by the terrain. The crops bent, creating barriers, the soil shifted under their feet, tripping vehicles, and the glowing plants reflected the sun's blinding sensors on their drones. Cole grinned. "Not bad, old girl," he muttered to Leora. "You guide well," she replied. "Now fight." The first wave of raiders arrived in small armored vehicles, guns blazing. Cole ducked behind a raised mound of soil as Leora moved gracefully, picking up raiders with her massive hands and tossing them far from the crops. She was careful. She didn't harm any of them seriously, but she removed their threat. Cole realized he could use his wits, too. He timed explosions, tripped mechanical traps, and led small groups of raiders into dead ends. Human ingenuity, combined with the land's responsiveness and Leora's strength, created a perfect defense. One raider vehicle approached too fast. Cole leaped onto it, manually triggering a small device that Leora had helped him amplify. The vehicle spun out of control, skidding into a patch of glowing crops which bent and held it in place like living chains. Cole jumped off, heart pounding, adrenaline sharp. "Clever," Leora said, her eyes shining. "You are learning the land's rhythm." Cole nodded, feeling pride swell in his chest. He had always thought humans were clever in their own way, but standing here with Leora, he realized they could be extraordinary. With guidance, with thought, humans could become guardians in ways even alien technology could not match. The battle continued for hours. Raiders advanced in waves, but Cole and Leora adapted. Every trap became more precise, every movement more coordinated. Cole shouted instructions while Leora used her immense size to defend, manipulate the terrain, and even scoop up large raider drones, tossing them harmlessly aside. Despite their efforts, Cole noticed the raiders adapting. They were learning too, trying to move around the glowing crops and avoid the traps. Cole's mind raced. He needed a new plan, something unpredictable. "Leora," he said, panting, "we need something bigger. Can you lift the entire north field, just enough to create a wall?" "Yes. But it will take strength and focus." Cole nodded. "Do it. I'll guide it." With careful telepathic communication, Cole directed Leora. She raised her enormous hands, gripping the soil, and lifted a massive section of the northern field. The crops bent but didn't break, soil glimmering as she held it like a living wall. The raiders were trapped on one side, their vehicles unable to pass, and their drones confused by the glowing, shifting terrain. Cole smiled. "That's what I'm talking about. Now let's finish this." As night approached, the suns dipping below the horizon, the raiders realized they could not win. Their ships retreated, leaving a few stragglers behind. Cole and Leora didn't pursue, there was no need. The land itself had defended them, guided by human intelligence and alien strength working together. Cole stood on a raised mound, looking over the battlefield. The glowing crops had survived, the soil was intact, and Leora stood tall in the center of the field, her eyes scanning the retreating raiders. He felt a rush of exhilaration. Humans could be clever, resourceful, and brave, and together with Leora they could defend this planet. "You did well," she said mentally, her voice gentle. Cole wiped sweat from his brow, grinning. "We did well, you and me, the land too. Yes, all of us." Cole took a deep breath, feeling the cool night air of Corrida Prime fill his lungs. "You know, I didn't think I'd be doing this when I bought a farm. I thought it'd be quiet, peaceful. Just me, some crops, and maybe a little adventure now and then." "Life rarely follows plans," Leora replied, her tone almost amused. "But it is more meaningful when unexpected." Cole chuckled. "You're right, more meaningful and a lot more exciting." He looked around at the glowing crops, the repaired farmhouse, and the land that seemed to pulse with life. For the first time in a long time, he felt truly connected to something bigger than himself. Humans were adaptable, clever, and strong in their own way. But standing here, fighting alongside Leora, he realized that courage, intelligence, and teamwork were the greatest strengths of all. "Tomorrow," Leora said, her voice calm, "you will learn more. There are still threats. But you will be ready." Cole nodded, feeling a sense of purpose. He had faced danger today, and he had survived. Humans could be more than survivors. They could be guardians, protectors, and creators. And together with Leora, he would defend this land, this farm, and the life it held. As the stars appeared over Corrida Prime, Cole sat on the porch once more. The glowing field stretched out before him, alive and peaceful for now. He knew challenges lay ahead, but he also knew that he was no longer alone. With Leora by his side, the planet itself as an ally, and his own skills and courage, he was ready for whatever came next. For the first time, Cole McRae felt that being a cowboy was more than riding and surviving. It was about leading, protecting, and thriving in ways he had never imagined. And this farm, this strange, alive, glowing farm, was the beginning of something extraordinary. The morning light spread slowly across Corrida Prime, and Cole McRae woke with a new determination. Yesterday's encounter with the raiders had been a wake-up call. He had survived, but barely. Today, he knew, was about preparation, training, and understanding the land he had bought. Leora stood in the field, already observing the glowing crops. She had been awake for hours, kneeling among the plants, her massive hands carefully brushing the soil. "You slept well," she said mentally. Cole stretched, swinging his arms. "Better than I have in a long time, but we can't just sit around. I want to learn more about the land, the crops, everything. We need to be ready. Yes, you must understand the balance of life here. Humans can adapt quickly, but only with knowledge will you truly protect this place." Cole nodded. He had already seen the land respond to his care and to Leora's presence. But he wanted more than survival. He wanted mastery. The morning was spent exploring. Leora guided him through sections of the farm he hadn't noticed before. Small streams hidden among the glowing fields, tiny hills that hid pockets of fertile soil, and clusters of trees whose roots seemed to hum with energy. "The land itself communicates," Leora explained. "It tells me where it needs help, where it can give strength. Humans can feel it too if they pay attention." Cole squatted beside a patch of soil, running his fingers through the dirt. He could feel a faint pulse, almost like the heartbeat of the planet. "I can feel it," he said quietly. "It's alive, I mean really alive." "Yes, and together we can guide it. Humans and land, guardian and protector, we are allies." Cole smiled faintly. He had fought enemies before, faced storms, predators, and hostile terrain, but never had he felt so connected to the ground beneath his boots. And Leora, she wasn't just strong. She was patient, intelligent, and somehow calming. By midday, Cole and Leora began training more deliberately. They simulated threats, with Cole running strategies and Leora responding with her immense strength. He practiced herding the glowing crops into defensive patterns, using soil barriers as traps, and even coordinating with the tiny creatures that inhabited the farm. "You are learning quickly," Leora said. "Your mind is clever. You see patterns, solutions, possibilities." "That is the strength of humans," Cole grinned. "Well, someone has to be clever around here, right? You're huge and strong, yes, but brains, that's all me. Brains and courage, you are both." The afternoon brought another surprise. As they were inspecting a northern field, Cole noticed a faint shimmer in the distance. "Leora, what's that?" "Something new, not raiders, but life. Perhaps a visitor or a test." Cole's curiosity surged. He had already seen strange life forms here, but never anything like this. As they approached, a creature appeared, tall, sleek, with iridescent skin and eyes that glowed faintly. It didn't attack. Instead, it seemed to study them, shifting slightly on its long legs. Cole raised a hand slowly. Hello. It is intelligent," Leora said. "Do not fear. It is observing." The creature tilted its head, then produced a small orb of light that floated toward Cole. It hovered in the air, pulsing gently. Cole reached out and touched it, and a rush of images flooded his mind. Distant planets, glowing landscapes, and humans working in harmony with their environment. "It shows you possibilities," Leora said. "That humans can do more than survive. They can thrive, create, protect." "You are part of this." Cole felt awe. This is amazing. Humans, we really can be more than we think." "Yes, but only if you act wisely." Cole nodded, feeling a new sense of purpose. He wasn't just a cowboy now, he was a guardian, a student, and a protector. And with Leora guiding him, he could rise to the challenge. The day passed in a mixture of learning and preparation. Cole learned to read subtle changes in the soil, to predict how the glowing crops would react, and to coordinate with Leora telepathically during simulated battles. By evening, they were exhausted, but a bond had formed stronger than ever. "You and I, we make a good team," Cole said quietly as he watched Leora kneel among the crops. "Yes, human ingenuity and strength guided by knowledge. Together we can face much," she replied. Cole chuckled. "Human ingenuity, huh? I like the sound of that. But let's not forget your strength. You're amazing, Leora. And you are clever. That is why the land chose you." Cole smiled. He felt proud, not arrogant, just confident that he was capable of something greater than himself. Night fell and the twin moons of Corrida Prime rose in the sky. Cole sat on the porch, staring out at the glowing fields. The tiny creatures scurried among the crops, the soil pulsed faintly, and Leora's massive silhouette rested among the plants, watching over everything. "Tomorrow," Leora said, her voice calm but firm, "the raiders will return. They learned from yesterday. They will come stronger." Cole's stomach tightened. He had hoped the previous encounter would have scared them off, but Leora was right. Humans could prepare, but threats would always exist. "I know," he said, determination building, "but we'll be ready. We've got brains, courage, and you. That counts for a lot." "It counts for much," Leora replied. Cole spent the rest of the night preparing. He reviewed his traps, reinforced the soil barriers, and even mapped out escape routes and ambush points. Leora assisted, her immense strength moving large obstacles and ensuring the terrain was ready to defend. Together, human ingenuity and alien strength worked in perfect harmony. The next morning, the suns rose once more, casting golden light across the glowing fields. Cole and Leora stood ready. From the horizon, faint shapes appeared, the raiders returning, larger and more numerous than before. Cole's heart pounded, but he was calm. He had a plan, and he had an ally unlike any other. "We face them together," Leora said. "Your mind guides, my strength executes." "You are ready," Cole nodded, gripping his modified weapons. "Let's do this. Human ingenuity versus their machines." The raiders advanced, but Cole's trap slowed them. Glowing crops bent to form barriers. Soil shifted to trip vehicles. And the tiny creatures he had trained moved strategically to distract and confuse the invaders. Leora used her strength to lift raiders and toss them away from the fields, avoiding harm while neutralizing threats. Cole moved among them, directing the defenses, triggering clever traps, and using the land's responsiveness to turn the battlefield to their advantage. The raiders, though more numerous, were unprepared for a partnership like theirs, human mind and alien strength working in perfect unison. "They are clever, Cole," Leora warned. "But you are cleverer. Use your mind." Cole smiled faintly, feeling adrenaline surge. "I've got this. Just follow my lead." Hours passed. The raiders advanced and retreated, but Cole and Leora adapted. Every strategy they tried was met with a counter-strategy, but together they were unstoppable. Cole realized humans could do extraordinary things when they combined courage, intelligence, and teamwork. Finally, the raiders retreated, exhausted and defeated. Cole and Leora stood in the glowing fields, surveying the aftermath. The crops were intact, the soil undisturbed, and the land itself seemed to pulse with approval. "We did well," Leora said. "Together we are strong." Cole wiped sweat from his brow, smiling. "Together, that's the key. Humans are clever, but with you and this land, we can do anything." "Yes," Leora replied, "but there will be more challenges. You must continue to learn, to guide, to protect." Cole nodded, looking over the glowing horizon. "I will, and I'm ready. We'll face whatever comes next together." That night, as the twin moons of Corrida Prime rose over the glowing fields, Cole lay on the porch, staring at the stars. He had found more than a farm. He had found purpose, partnership, and a chance to prove that humans, though small, could accomplish greatness. And with Leora by his side, he knew the adventure was only beginning. The twin suns of Corrida Prime rose slowly, painting the glowing fields in gold and amber. Cole McRae stood at the edge of the farmhouse porch, gripping his plasma revolver with determination. Today, he knew, would be the day the raiders returned, not in small numbers, but in force. Leora's enormous figure moved through the fields like a living shield. She had spent the previous night preparing, reshaping soil and plants, reinforcing barriers, and quietly guiding Cole through strategy. Her eyes, sharp and intelligent, scanned the horizon for the first signs of danger. "They come," she said mentally, her calm tone betraying nothing of concern. Cole took a deep breath. "Then let's show them what humans can do and what we can do together." Yes, together. By mid-morning, the raiders appeared on the horizon. Their ships hovered above the planet, sleek and deadly, casting shadows over the glowing fields. Armored vehicles and drones began to descend, engines roaring and weapons primed. Cole's heart raced, but it was not fear. It was excitement, determination, and confidence. "Stay calm. Focus, guide me," he thought to Leora. "I am ready. You guide, I act," she replied. Cole began directing the land, working with Leora to manipulate soil, crops, and small creatures. Glowing fields bent to form barriers, trenches appeared, and the creatures darted strategically to distract raiders. Every movement was coordinated. Every strategy was precise. "Remember," Cole shouted aloud, "brains first. They think they can brute force this. Let's show them human cleverness." The first wave of raiders moved quickly, confident in their superior numbers and firepower. But Cole had learned much since his arrival. Using simple but clever traps, he slowed them down. Soil barriers would rise at the right moments, crops bent to trip vehicles, and glowing lights reflected the suns to blind sensors on drones. Leora's strength was unmatched. She lifted vehicles, tossing them far from the fields without harming anyone seriously. Her movements were precise, almost elegant, despite her immense size. Cole moved alongside her, triggering small explosives and mechanical traps, using every bit of ingenuity he had to guide the land in defense. The raiders tried to adapt, moving faster and changing tactics, but Cole and Leora anticipated each move. Their teamwork was flawless, human intelligence complemented by alien strength, each learning from the other, each improving with every moment. Cole spotted a large raider vehicle attempting to flank them from the east. "Leora, North Field, lift it, trap the flanker." "Understood." With immense power, Leora lifted a massive section of the northern field, creating a barrier that blocked the raiders' path completely. The vehicle skidded and crashed harmlessly into the glowing soil, immobilized. Cole grinned. That's what I'm talking about. Human ingenuity and a giant friend unstoppable. Do not underestimate them, Leora warned. They are clever, but so are we. Cole's mind raced. He realized that humans were extraordinary, not because of size or raw strength, but because of creativity, courage, and teamwork. The raiders may have had advanced technology, but humans had something unpredictable, flexible, and resilient. The raiders regrouped, launching a more coordinated attack. Drones swarmed the fields, weapons firing indiscriminately. Cole ducked behind a mound, shouting instructions to Leora. Focus on them in waves. Take out the leaders first. I see. Follow your lead. Leora moved with incredible precision, her massive hands intercepting drones and vehicles, tossing them aside or into barriers Cole had created. The glowing crops bent and twisted, confusing sensors and slowing enemy movements. Cole activated traps, timed explosives, and guided small creatures to distract and confuse. For hours, the battle raged. Dust, soil, and light swirled together as humans and alien strength worked in harmony. Cole's strategies, though simple, were brilliant when combined with Leora's immense power. They were not just defending, they were teaching the raiders a lesson in human ingenuity. Finally, the raiders attempted a last desperate push. Their ships hovered low, dropping massive armored vehicles onto the fields. Cole's chest tightened. This was it, the final wave. He turned to Leora. Ready? He asked, adrenaline surging. Always, Cole grinned. Then let's end this. He ran toward the center of the field, coordinating traps with precision. Leora lifted enormous soil walls, creating narrow channels that forced the raiders into predictable paths. Cole used every trick he had learned, timed explosives, tripwires, and even clever maneuvers with his hover horse. The raiders were clever, but Cole's thinking and Leora's strength were faster. The final vehicles advanced, but Leora, guided by Cole, picked them up one by one, tossing them safely aside. The glowing crops bent and blocked paths, forcing raiders into dead ends. Tiny creatures darted among them, causing confusion and preventing any coordinated attack. Cole's eyes sparkled. It's working, Leora, we're doing it. Yes, you guided well. The land responds to intelligence and courage. At last, the raiders realized they could not win. Their ships retreated, leaving behind a few disabled drones and abandoned vehicles. Cole and Leora stood victorious in the glowing fields. The crops swayed gently, almost like a celebration, and the soil pulsed faintly as if acknowledging the victory. Cole exhaled deeply, feeling the adrenaline drain. We did it together. The land, you and me, unbeatable. Together, Leora agreed. Cole walked through the fields, inspecting the aftermath. The soil was undisturbed, the crops intact, and the tiny creatures scurried happily through their home. Humans may have been small, but with courage, intelligence, and partnership, they could accomplish greatness, even against impossible odds. You have learned much, Leora said. And yet there is more to know. Threats will always come. But humans, you are capable beyond measure. Cole smiled, feeling proud not of strength alone, but of strategy, courage, and partnership. I understand now. Humans can be more than survivors. We can protect, create, thrive. And I will, with you, Leora. And I with you, she replied. The twin moons rose over Corrida Prime, casting silver light across the glowing fields. Cole stood on the porch of the farmhouse, looking out over the land he had bought. He had come seeking solitude, simple life, and peace. Instead, he had found purpose, partnership, and a sense of belonging he had never known. Leora's massive form rested among the crops, her eyes scanning the horizon even as the battle ended. Cole knew she would always protect the land, but now he understood something more important. Humans had a role too. With courage, creativity, and intelligence, They could shape their world, protect it, and even thrive alongside forces greater than themselves. Cole walked to the edge of the field, feeling the soft pulse of the soil beneath his boots. This farm, it's more than land. It's alive, and we're part of it. You and me, Leora, together we're strong. Yes, together, she replied. For the first time, Cole felt truly at home, not just on the farm, not just on Corrida Prime, but in the universe itself. Humans were small, yes, but clever, brave, and resourceful. And together with allies, no matter how big, they could overcome any challenge. Cole looked at the glowing horizon, feeling pride, hope, and excitement for the future. The raiders were gone for now, but he knew more challenges would come. And he was ready. Humans could endure, humans could adapt, and humans could triumph. And with Leora by his side, nothing was impossible. The stars glittered above, the glowing crops pulsed gently, and Cole McRae, cowboy, farmer, and now guardian, smiled. He had come for peace, but he had found greatness, and he would protect it always. And the adventure, he knew, had only just begun.